Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy. This is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, so what we're going to do today, if you remember, just I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we did a all grain bourbon mash. So we're going to try to finish that up today. One thing that I have to do a little bit different is because I have to strain all the grain and the corn out of the mash before it goes into my still pot. So what we're going to do is we'll work with this nylon Brita bag, and we'll see if we can do that. First things first, here's something you can really do to help us out a lot. 5 things. Number 1, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Number 2, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Number 3, share us with your friends. Number 4 would be give us a thumbs up if you like what you see, and if you're inclined, leave a comment below and I'll give get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, well, let's get started. Okay, the first thing I did was I checked my final gravity at 1.000, so I do know that the fermentation is complete. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this brewing bag, I'm going to put it in this bucket. Then we're going to start dipping out the mash, put it in here, then we'll be able to strain the corn and stuff from it. But we don't want that to go into our still pot because we could scorch it. And a lot of grain was still in suspension, the cornmeal. So I figured this is going to be the easiest way to do this. This is the first time I ever did it this way. Normally what I would do is I would sparge all the grains first. But with this much grain, it was a little bit difficult to work with. Well, let's see how much that is. I sure can smell the alcohol. I'll be kind of curious to see what the final volume is. Okay, so let me get this rest of this strained out, and then I'll be back. Okay, I got all the straining done. I'll be honest with you, that was a chore. I ended up with about 6 gallons of pretty clean mash here that I'm going to start to distill out. So I'll start assembling the still, start heating it up, and we'll get to going. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get that set up, and then I'll be back. Just as a quick note, I'm using 2 rolls of copper mesh in my column, and you want to make sure that you don't pack it in there too tight. So a quick test, if you can breathe effortlessly through that column, you're good to go. If there's any kind of restriction at all, you're packed a little bit too tight and it would cause you troubles. So we'll continue up with the column. Put a sight glass on there just because I like to watch what's going on. Sometimes it gets a little tricky trying to do all this with only 2 hands. But you get the hang of it. And last thing will be a thermometer. Okay, so I got the still heating up, got everything put together. All I got left to do is make the water connections, and let's heat up. Okay, so I'll be back a little bit, let you know how it's going. Just to let you know what's going on, the still is starting to heat up. If you feel your column down near the pot, you can start feeling the temperatures coming up. I'm starting to get a little bit of fog up in my sight glass. It's still cold up top, but it started out about 60 degrees and it's up to the 70. Now she's going to inch on up very slow, and then she's going to stop and hold out for a while, but do not walk away. Because once she starts climbing, she's going to climb. But you can feel the column here. It's starting to rise. So just keep an eye on her. Okay, just to give you an update where we're at. I had all the heat on. You can see vapors in the sight glass here. She hung out at 80 degrees for a good while. So she hung out at 80 degrees for a while, And she started climbing, she got up to 90, and then she went from 90 on up past 140. So I cut the heat back a little bit more. And right now she's hanging out at right about 170, best I can tell is 175. She's really producing. Okay, so I'm going to collect the first 4 ounces, and that's going to be our heads and 4 shots, and we'll get rid of that. And then you can really feel the column. She's really producing more. I'm going to shut the heat back down just a little bit, slow her up a little bit. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see that. She's actually running a little bit too fast. I'm going to slow her. I'm going to shut the heat back just a little bit more. And then after these 4 ounces, then we'll switch to collection jars. Okay? So I'll be right back. Okay. Here's our first 4 ounces. We're going to consider that our heads and 4 shots all combined. It has a very distinctive smell. It is very clean tasting. And I did check. That's coming off at about 140 proof at the moment. So if you see it's just a little bit smaller than pencil lead or something, you know, running. Our temperature gauge up there is sitting right at 180, which that's where this still likes to run. Everybody's still is a little bit different. So it's just a matter here. We'll be here for a while, just collecting out. So we'll do our small cut jars like we always do, and we'll go from there. Just as a okay. So I'm going to be collecting for a while. Okay, just to give an update where we're at. So far we got 1, 2, 3 quarts. Working on our a half of one here. Let's take a sample. And we're looking at 45%, which is 90 proof. The head temperature is climbing about 195. About 205 I like to stop, and then we'll be done. So we probably will get it, this half a quart here, and we'll be getting close to being done. So I'll come back and let you know. Okay, I just wanted to show you something. If these are our cut jars, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but you could almost see a little bit of a haze in this second to last one. That means you're really getting into your tails. Now look at the one before that. That is just nice, shiny, clean. I hope you can see that. That is just shiny clear. And all the ones before that are the same way, nice, shiny, clear. That's just a good indication that you're getting into your tails. But there's nothing wrong with that. We'll just take that and add that into, or put it in our faints jar, because there's good alcohol left in there, and then we'll just put it into the next batch. It just means we're getting in our tails a little bit. I mean, I tasted it, don't taste too bad, but it's not as good as the previous ones. So just as a recap of what we've done, is this was an all-grain corn mash that we fermented on the grain. It was a little bit challenging because of the amount of grain we used. The taste, that will be there. The taste is there so far. We'll find out once we put this on oak and all that good stuff. Okay, so our next step is we'll blend all this together. We'll find out the cut jars we want. We'll blend it together and proof it down to about 80 proof, and then we will add oak to it, and it'll be put in a bottle and let it sit and age for a little while. I just want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.